So I'm not sure what I'm going to title this yet, but it'll be clear once I finish, I guess. But I noticed as I got older and I started taking care of myself, that I look back in my life and I really didn't have anybody that took care of me, really. Not in a real way. I had my grandmother and grandfather. I'd go down there after school and all, mow their yard and stuff like that. But other than that, I really did. There's more to taking care of somebody than just feeding them. And yeah, I was fed. Yeah, I had a place to sleep. Yeah, I had some heat and cool. But I wasn't taught anything. Wasn't taught anything about anything, really. Nothing about the Bible, nothing about why certain foods, nothing about anything. And it could have been that they didn't know. It could have been that they didn't know. And so it took me most of my life to realize that even though I didn't have physical abuse, but it was mental, psychological, and just all kinds of chaotic abuse. Around me it was nothing but chaos. And I noticed that same pattern tries to show up in the real world as an adult and online too. And so it's the spirit of the age trying to create chaos, but it's an unhealthy thing. And so the media, the news, the rebellion, it's really not healthy. The best way to make change instead of rebellion is change yourself and make change on a local level. But what happened was, so the pattern was set in a childhood. So I married somebody who really, she didn't want to take care of her husband. All she cared about was herself. She might have spoke it to her family or somebody. Yeah, she didn't care about taking care of anybody. Cleaning, cooking the right thing, finances. It was all about her. She didn't care about my finances. It was all about her finances. It was all about her. It wasn't about taking care of the other party. There's two parties in an agreement, right? And there might be more than two. But most people, and again, it's the spirit of the age, most people only care about taking care of themselves. They don't care about taking care of nobody else. And so I was raised around that. Aunts and uncles and mom and dad and sisters and cousins. They didn't care about nobody else. They didn't care about the well-being of anybody else. Friends. I noticed people who took chances in life, they always had a backup, their dad or their mom. They would act crazy and want you to act crazy with them, but I didn't have a backup system. And pretty much that's why I worked 2 jobs my whole life, because that was my backup. God is really your backup, but you know what I'm talking about. You got to function down here. I actually had, this week, somebody, a psychopath, try to target me in the real world. Bizarro land. A psychopath trying to get in the door. Somebody I don't even know. I need a place to live. It happened online too. Met somebody online. Talked to somebody online who said they were saved. But I could tell when I met, because she wanted to meet for lunch just to talk. But she had ulterior motives. I didn't. But after talking to her, I realized it was she was in some kind of drug situation probably. Anyway, I left. She called a few days later. This was many years ago, probably 8 years ago. Can I borrow your couch? Because I got a job interview down there. I don't think so. I don't know you. Last week, same thing. Can I borrow your floor? I don't have anywhere to stay. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know you. So these these sharks, these goats, these wolves, these predators, snakes, they're looking for patterns in people, right? So let's say in the real world you help somebody, or even online you help somebody. In their mind, they don't think like that. They don't think about helping anybody or passing on information for free, helping people, giving somebody a hand to lift somebody up. They don't think like that. So when they see somebody that thinks like that, they think you're naive. They think you're an easy target. But the reality is, I'm not an easy target. I'm probably one of the hardest targets out there. Because, yeah, I care about souls, yeah. But I also know that every human being has a bad side. And I also know, because I've been married twice, and I've dated enough women, that a woman can talk a good talk and then flip things in a second. Even if let's say she's talking about doctrine, I say that's false doctrine. You need to quit talking like that. That's false doctrine. Well, that's abuse. You just have your beliefs. No, I believe the Bible. And you taking it out of context. You got to read the whole chapter. That's abuse. No, it ain't. You don't know what you're talking about. You're taking a verse out of context. How can this be abuse? I'm rebuking you for a lie that you're believing. You're the one that's abusing me, trying to feed me with lies. But way back, I didn't understand that. I just thought this person's attacking me with lies. I didn't say it to him. But as I look back, the liar is an abuser. Why would I put up and marry somebody? Even before I got married, I noticed, because you start to tie everything together, your insurance company and all that. And she ran a stop sign or something, got a ticket. I said, what are you doing? Why are you speeding? That was speeding or something. You're going to affect my insurance rate, And then I had another wife, she wrote a bad check. I said, what are you doing? I haven't written a bad check in 20 years. Not 20 years, 10 years. I haven't written a bad check in ever. What are you doing? If you don't have the money, why'd you write a bad check? Because they don't care about your insurance. They don't care about your account. They don't care about your house. They want to come in and sleep on your floor, your couch, because you've worked hard to maintain your body ship, your house ship, your car ship, your business ship, whatever ship you're maintaining, and they want to just come in and steal, kill, and destroy and take advantage of something that you maintain that they can't do. They want the privileges but no responsibility. It's true on a job. So you're managing your department, Somebody comes in and tries to pull you off of your department, destroy your management skills, and hijack your department. Somebody tries to hijack your department because they don't know how to manage their department. I told a temp that one time. I said, what are you doing? I said, you're losing tools, you're stealing tools or losing them. One, you're breaking stuff, you're tearing stuff up. I said, are you trying to destroy my job? Are you trying to, and I told them that to their face. I said, what are you trying to do? Hijack, or what's the word when somebody tries to turn over the ship? What was it? There's a word when somebody tips the ship over. What's it called? I forget right now, but you know what I'm saying. I said, what are you trying to do? Capsize the ship? You trying to capsize this place? Long story short, most people who can't manage their stuff, they want to hijack or they want to grab on the shirt tail of somebody else and then destroy it. Because they can't do nothing. They can't manage it, so they want to destroy it. I mean, really, for real. And you can tell them. You can tell them how to do stuff, and they still can't do it. I mean, I raised within 6 months, I raised my credit score up like crazy. Because I just followed I downloaded the Credit Karma, and I just followed what they said, and I did. And now it's like 742. And you can tell somebody how to do it, but they can't do it until it's in them to want to do it. You can tell somebody, hey, don't eat sugar or as much sugar. You better fast. Why are you drinking? I had an Uber rider, and I told him, I said, if you cut out drinking, you'll feel better. Because he was talking about being tired or something. I said, cut out sugar, cut out drinking, cut out. Is he gonna have the willpower to do it? No, I didn't, until I wanted to do it. It's true with everybody. So if you marry somebody, or if you go into business with somebody, or you let somebody cross your threshold, or you let somebody in your car that's needing a ride, and I'm not talking about an Uber or Lyft or something, but I'm talking about if you yoke up with anybody who is not responsible, who's don't know how to manage their own ship, and they don't know how to manage their own house or their own business, you're gonna have trouble. Don't let them in. Make sure that they can do it. Now you might have a short-term agreement that they don't affect you, like they might mow your yard. But I actually had some people up the street one time. They said, "Can I mow your yard?" I said, "I ain't got $20." I said, "I'll do it," and end up breaking my windshield on my car with the rocks. And I told him, I said, "Man, I have insurance, but you're not mowing my yard anymore." And he got mad. And I didn't break that window. I said, "Yeah, you did. It wasn't broke before you mowed, and now it's broke. Who broke it? Come on." But a short-term agreement is fine to somebody to mow your yard or something like that, But even a mechanic working on your car could cause you some trouble. Especially marriage, especially some in-laws, especially some outlaws, especially friends who are frenemies instead of friends. They will act like they're your friend, but what are they trying to do? They're trying to get information to steal, kill, and destroy. That's all they're doing. I promise you. They're out there. And a lot of them, they're the watchers. You ask them, you say, "Are you in the Freemasons?" "No, I'm not in the Freemasons," but you know they are. You know something wrong with them. They have to do the bidding of the devil. And it might seem insignificant. You might say, this person's impossible. This person is in a secret society. That's why it's called a secret society, because it's secret. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you. If you're in the Freemasons, you better get out, because that organization worships Lucifer. Period. Absolute fact. The Freemasons worship Lucifer. And you might say, who is Lucifer? Lucifer is the devil. And what is Lucifer's goal? Lucifer's goal is to destroy the earth. The devil's goal is to turn everything into a works-based salvation and not faith alone. The devil's goal is to brainwash you. The devil's goal is to get you used to abuse. So you might have family members that was trying to train you to accept abuse, you know. And so you're willing to accept it. Now, if somebody's rebuking you because of something that you're doing wrong for yourself, and they're rebuking you so that you'll do right, that's not abuse. A spanking is probably not abuse if you were trying to run out in the street. Do you understand what I'm saying? God scourges every son he receives. Why? Because you're going to hell, or not. If you're his son, you're not going to hell, but you're acting like a hell-bound sinner, and you're doing something detrimental to your soul, your heart, your mind. So he has to rebuke you for your own good. Now, the devil, if you're the elect, you're not saved yet, and you're the elect, he's calling you, he's gonna rebuke you so you don't go to hell. That's a fine line there on doctrine, you know. If God is calling you and he knew you from the foundation world, he's doing his best to get you saved. Anybody can reject God, but he knows who's going to be saved, and he's trying to keep you from going to hell, and he's rebuking you, and he's scourging you before you even get saved. But those that are the goats, God isn't even messing with them. I mean, if the Holy Spirit is convicting you of sin and convicting you to get saved, that's a blessing. Being convicted of sin is a blessing. And so once you get saved, God scourges his own. Why? You don't spank your neighbor's child, you spank your child. Quit going out in the road. Now your neighbor might be running out. Your neighbor's kid you might call over there and say, get out of the road. You're gonna get run over. Today's culture now, a kid runs out the road, gets hit, they'd blame the driver. They'd blame the driver instead of blaming the parents. Didn't you train your kids not to run out in the road? They'd want to blame the driver, you know. Society's upside down because people are not saved and their mind is twisted and they're upside down in their thinking. Anyway, so the devil's system wants you to be trained to accept abuse from a child, from a teenager, from the whole system. And so if you accept abuse, you're going to marry somebody that doesn't care about you. That doesn't take care of you. I mean, you would think that a husband and wife, they'd be worried, are you eating the right food? I mean, I've actually seen families do this where I've seen the woman and the man really concerned about what the other person eats, if they sleep on time, if they really care about the other person staying healthy, you know? But as I got older, I find it very rare. Now, when I was younger, I'd see it, but now it's rare. You don't see it as much. Why? Because they don't even love themselves. And if they don't love themselves, they can't love a spouse and want the best for the spouse. If a spouse is going into false doctrine, you tell them. If they're overeating, you tell them. You try to get them to exercise. You try to get them to, if they're gossiping on the phone, you tell them. What I did is I probably did it. I'd yank the phone out of the wall and just yank the cord out of the wall. But that was wrong. I admit that was wrong. There's a right way to do stuff, but when you have to sit there and listen to somebody run their mouth about somebody for 30 minutes, I just didn't want it. I just couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it. Some things you just can't take and you walk away. But if you're married to one of them, you can't walk away, right? On the job, you can just do your job. You can say, look, I'm in the middle of work, and you just let them do their thing. They try to pull you into their gossip, their backbiting, their dirty jokes, or whatever. Just walk away. Just do your job. Just do your job. But when you're married to one, it's hard to walk away from that. Unless you just walk around the block. But I lived it. The system's trying to get you to accept abuse and accept to be married to, yoked up with a family of people that abuse you, even a phone call. Even now, I don't even take a phone call from somebody who's abusive at all. What does that mean? I pretty much had to cut everybody off. Almost everybody, if you have a conversation with them, they want you to go in the past. They want to be negative. They want to be pessimistic. They want to complain. Instead of them having hobbies and building a business and learning the trade, learning medical, learning something, there's always something new to learn. Learn the Bible. Whatever it is, learn some programming, learn something. There's always something to learn. If you don't believe that, start studying some medical stuff. I started studying some medical stuff recently, and it's unlimited. It's unlimited. There's a lot of so-called experts out there, but I like to learn it for myself. You compare 2 or 3 experts, and you try to find and then you do your own experiments, you know. But for people to live in the natural mind, and a lot of us, they don't have a hobby. They don't want to learn. They don't want to grow because they've been brainwashed by the system. They've been abused by the system. They want to be abused, and so therefore they abuse. And the abuser, the abused becomes the abuser, and they think it's normal to be married to somebody and not care about that person's welfare, their finances, their health, their sleeping, their soul, their will, their emotions, their intellect. And so when you start to reach out to some of these people, even in the real world, I notice that you start to reach out, you start to have a mindset of try to help and bring people to wholeness. You reach out and you try to pull somebody up. They think that's some kind of romantic love. But you're not using, the reason they misinterpret that as romantic love is because they've never experienced real love. Do you understand? If you're trying to heal somebody, whether it's spiritually, in the soul, or physically, I'm trying to show you how to be healed. Do some fasting. I'm talking about like in the real world. I'm not talking about online. People online should know that it's, if somebody's trying to help the world or help their little realm, they're not trying to date them, you know? But it happens to everybody. I mean, I'm not saying you're a bad person if you've thought that about somebody, but I'm saying, I mean, everybody can fall into that. But my point is, the world has not seen real love, and so when real love shows up on the scene, you want us to pull people out of the miry clay, spiritually, physically, mentally, will, emotions, intellect, body. You want them to get healthy. They misinterpret that because they've never seen it. They don't understand what it means when they should have it. So when you're a whole in Christ, you want everybody else to be whole. And and I'm not saying you gain it to perfection down here. It's a work in progress. Wholeness. Even the words out of your mouth. When somebody speaks, you can actually tell if they're whole or not just by the way they speak, really. If they're cursing, especially if they're lying all the time, if you catch them lying all the time, they are. If you catch a woman who's really a master deceiver, she's probably a prostitute, really. She a call girl or something like that. A woman who's a master deceiver, like a master at manipulating the line, they can just lie on the flip. They've been with so many. They've learned how to survive in a world of prostitution, and their brain is only thinking, I gotta lie to survive. If a man is a liar, he's probably just a con artist, and it's all about his love of money, you know. It's just all everything's about money, you know. It's just greed. But when somebody goes into lying and they just keep lying, they pretty much, it's hard to get somebody like that to change, you know. It's best to walk away from a liar. You can't even talk to, when you got a liar, you can't even talk to them. You don't know what they're going to do next. They will, not only will they throw you under the bus, they throw everybody under this, and because they're throwing themselves under the bus, because everybody sees a liar, because they're contradicting themselves on every turn. I mean, look at Dr. Fake. He's a liar. He's contradicting himself. Look at the media. Look at the politicians. They're liars. Look at the lawyers. They try to use all this fancy language when you really an agreement is, do you agree to go to the store? Yes. What happens on the way to the store? Well, if it's your fault, you're liable. If it's my fault, I'm liable. Okay. I mean, it don't have to be complicated with a bunch of lawyer terms, but they make it that way because they're con artists. They're liars. They're master deceivers. And it's all about money, you know. Notice how the Supreme Court knocked down that mandate to try to make everybody on the job get vaccinated. The Supreme Court knocked it down because it was so obvious. And so they had, if you listen to the lawyers make an argument, the one lawyer trying to make the argument, he had a bunch of fancy words, and then one of the Supreme Court just asked him one question, and he couldn't answer it in a logical manner. And then he asked the other lawyer. They saw right through it. I already knew they were going to knock it down. Now the deal with the people going into the medical profession, I wish they had knocked it down, but I had a feeling that just by listening to the judges ask questions, I knew they would. But long story short, if you've got a liar, that's ultimate abuse. If you've got, because a gaslighter, a liar is an abuser to the nth degree. They're trying to change reality. They're liars. And you know how many women I've dated were gaslighters? And I didn't even know what gaslighting was. But why would I put up with it? I wasn't educated as a child. It was everybody around me was doing it. And I thought, well, you got to a point where you thought the whole nation is corrupt, because you don't meet these people who are normal, who tell the truth. A truth speaker, they're rare. You know why, I think? Because you have to be brave to tell the truth, because you have to be willing to suffer loss. Because if you tell the truth, you're liable to get fired, you're liable to get attacked, you're liable to get sued in court. You're liable to be abused by the liars, because you're exposing the lies of the system. The whole system's a lie. That's why they're using censorship like crazy, because the lies are so obvious they don't want somebody to talk about it. The cancel culture. What is the cancel culture? To shut down the truth. To shut down the truth. Think about it. Why would you need cancel culture if it was all lies? Everybody would know it was a lie. So the only reason you need cancel culture is somebody speaking the truth. Think about what I'm saying. If it was all lies, they wouldn't. If somebody was speaking lies, you wouldn't say, let's cancel them, because it would be so obvious that they're a liar that nobody would listen to them. Nobody would believe them. You wouldn't need cancel culture. But the ones who are lying need cancel culture against the truth speakers. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand what I'm saying. If a bunch of people are speaking lies, you don't need cancel culture, because the lie is so obvious that they will be shut down. But if the person's speaking truth that they don't want to hear, then you need cancel culture, because the truth reveals how sick society really is. The only reason there's a cancel culture is because the liars are in the majority and they don't want to hear the truth. Or the liars in the minority and they want to be the majority because they're liars and they're jealous of your majority and your logic. I guess that's probably what it is. Who knows? But who knows if they're the majority? But I think they're the minority. And so it comes down to the fact that the minority of lies wants to be the majority. So the only thing they can do is create some kind of diversion and call it cancel culture. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I didn't explain it as well as I could have, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's just like if you're married to one and you're married to a liar and you call them out on it, because I've lived this. Then they create some kind of diversion or drama to get you mad, And that's how a narcissist does it. A psychopath, really, they're psychopaths. So the psychopath wants to do something to provoke you, and you get mad. See? And then they stay calm while you're angry, and they call the neighbor over, or their family. Look how mad he is. And they're calm, because the psychopath is using your emotions, which they don't have because they're psychopaths. They pretend to be emotional, but they don't really have it. And so they stir the pot and then make you look crazy because you're upset. But when you learn this about the psychopaths and the narcissists and all, you start to say, okay, I'm not even going to respond to their insanity. Long story short, I still don't know what my title is. But I've seen it. When a wife, and if it's a woman out there, when your husband is not taking care of you, doesn't care about your sleep, doesn't care about your peace of mind and your spiritual, they don't love you. And the reason they don't love you is because they don't know what love is, because they don't even love themselves. If they don't love you, it's probably because they never loved themselves. You understand? Maybe that's what I'll title this. I like to title it at the end because you got to go to the end to hear it. They don't love you because they don't love themselves. That's what I'll title it.